Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today I will be reading from a subreddit, so let's jump into it. My dad married a very controlling woman when I was 12. She also has a son who's on the autism spectrum. He was 4 when I first met him. When we all met, Austin was nonverbal and had major sensory problems. He couldn't handle any noise. And Gina, his mum, had the rule in place that you had to whisper, walk quiet, do everything quiet, and phones had to be off or on silent, because even vibrate was too much noise for Austin. My dad was willing to sign himself and me up for this regardless of how I felt. At that point, Gina had already alienated most of her family, because nobody wanted to deal with how strict she was about silence, and she tried to make other people's homes follow the rule so Austin could visit. I had games consoles that I never played after my dad and Gina bought a house together because it was too much noise. I wasn't allowed to watch TV or use pretty much any technology inside the house. If I wanted a shower, I had to put a towel over the bathroom door to drown out the noise of the water running, even though I heard my dad and Gina showering with that towel there. Flushing the toilet was also discouraged, unless Austin was out of the house. One time I made a little noise cooking and Gina told me to stop, and made me drop it all, and she tossed out the food I was making, and I had to wait for Dad to bring home takeout. Another time, my dad got mad at me because there was an issue with the front door, and Dad told me I wasn't even trying to be quiet. We all had the same trouble and made the same noise with the door. But my dad was so pissed at me for not finding a better way to get inside the house. Austin did eventually talk, but he's not very verbal. He still has major issues with sensory stimulation too. Noise is the worst, but he doesn't like some textures too. When I was 18, I moved out of Dad and Gina's house, and I never went back to visit or checked in on them. By that point, Dad's family weren't talking to them, and the few people in Gina's family who were still in their lives had moved away from them because of the strictness of the rules and how controlling they were about enforcing them. They've lived very lonely lives since I moved out. They get no visitors, don't have anyone to visit, and I don't even answer their calls most of the time. I have answered a handful of Dad's calls since I moved out. But I don't answer Gina at all. Am I the asshole? Well, this is hard. It seems like a lot of what the original poster is saying is true. The fact that she couldn't even cook without being screamed at or having her food thrown away, yeah, that's definitely not okay. And if she was doing something that set off Austin, then I understand why he would have to leave. But the fact that she isn't allowed to have her own child in her own house and that her husband didn't stand up for her, that is really messed up. However, you could have been a little more clear about that. You said that you couldn't even cook without getting screamed at or having your food thrown away. That could mean that you literally couldn't cook without setting off Austin, so I think you could have worded that a bit better. Also, you said that you weren't allowed to have your own child in your own house. But I'm assuming that you mean that you weren't allowed to have your child there without Gina's permission. Just wanted to clear that up. But other than that, this one hurts my soul.